All right. If you hear the fans loud, it's because the AC's on in the car because it's hot in Florida right now. What is it? 89 degrees outside right now, I think it says. See it up there? So 89. You can see I got the GPS going because that can only mean one thing, right? When I'm in the car, well, you see the backup camera now, so we're backing up. Oh, get this thing turned so I don't hit no trees or nothing in the yard getting out. And I'm sorry about that AC, but it is hot. I'm not kidding you. I showed you the temperature so you know it's hot. I am headed to pick up another mystery marketplace PC. I can't stop. I don't know. I just can't stop destroying myself with this stuff. I'm not destroying myself. We're creating content for YouTube, and hopefully you guys and gals will like it. But if I ride around with this camera on and people see it, they're liable to call the police and say, there's some dude riding around holding a stick in his hand with something on it, just waving it around at people, and who knows. I've got a 32-minute drive according to the global positioning sensor in my car. So about a 32-minute drive. We're going down to well, I live in a little place that's not even a town, it's more of a community, but it has a different name. But we're going to the city that it would be closest to. That's the best way to put it. So the last marketplace run I did, I went 2 cities away. This time I'm only going to the next city. But here's the beautiful scenery down the road from my house. I'll let you see that before I gotta cut you off, because I need to focus on driving here. So there you go. That's your beautiful driving scenery. I'll do that every time I do these marketplace things. But I'm gonna focus on driving, go down here, pick this thing up, and I get the GoPro out. I don't know if this is a shady one or not. I'm headed to a skate park to meet somebody. You know, sight unseen, I shot the guy an offer, $100. I don't know what that popping was, but I shot the guy an offer, $100, and he said, you know what, I will take that. So it's supposed to be a complete unit minus the hard drive. Looks like an older build again, you know, you're not gonna find too many new builds for that. It looks like an older build. It's an old iBuyPower case. So I'm gonna get down here, pick it up, we'll see what we got, and then we'll go through the same method of cleaning it and seeing what works and what don't, and then what we're gonna do with it. So hang tight, and then I'll cut you guys back on when we have secured our $100 marketplace score today. All right, we got it. We got marketplace score number 2 sliding around the back of my Yukon. Just sliding around the back. So that's gonna be score number 2. We're on the ride home. We're back on my road again. So I give you the scenic tour on the ride back. Out the window. Oh, there's the cow pastures over there. We'll see if there's any cows back there. There is. We'll see if you can spot the cows on the ride home. But we have traffic in front of us too, if you can see the cars up there. But it's such a beautiful ride home. Usually there's no cars around me, but on Saturdays and Sundays, Google GPS takes everyone down my road now. So it made it from a nice, pleasant drive every day. When I originally moved out here 25 years ago, it wasn't like this. You were lucky to see another car on this road. And the reason why is because when we get down here a little bit farther, this road got really narrow and was literally a one lane road. And it was that way for many years of me living here. And then the county finally went through, widened it, put a center line down it, and then lines on the other side. So I've been around here a long time when, you know, hardly any people lived around here or anything like that. And it's just the changes that I've seen done here, but I don't want to I don't want to use up too much of the video because we got to get this thing home and show it to you. I don't think it's anything special. It may be an AM3 Plus platform. I'm not real sure, but I picked it up anyway because I have a processor for that. The graphics card is not what was in the picture, and I discussed that. The guy said that he had literally stuck the GT730 in it because the card that was in it was burned up. So I wasn't real thrilled with that, but he did find a 1 terabyte hard drive, just a regular SATA drive to throw into it, so that'll work out pretty good. But I'll cut you guys back on when we get home because there's too much traffic on my road to film it right now, and I apologize for that, but there's just a ton of traffic on the road. So I will cut you on after I get this thing back to the shop, and it is dirty just like the last one. And I picked up some paint and other materials for some case projects, and I'm going to do some resto modding on these cases. And I've got some junk cases I'm going to use the side panels. I'll tell you guys more about that. I think you're really going to enjoy some of the resto mods and repaints that I'm going to do on these. And I picked up satin black and flat white, maybe. I can't remember, but I got it in quartz, so I can mix it in a gun and shoot it. But I'll cut you guys back on after I get back to the shop. We're back. We're in the shop. We got the fan running, so you're going to hear that in the background. It's pretty loud. I got to have it on today, and I'll show you why. It's hot in here. That's why that big old fan's running. I'm going to show you what we scored today. I'm going to call this marketplace fine $100 because it was twice as much as the last one, and hopefully it's worth it. So if one of these parts are good, I'm going to say it's worth it. And one of the main parts being the 1,000-watt power supply that's sitting in it. So let's go without further ado and take a look at it. Well, we do got case fans on this one, red ones too. We got us a liquid cooler down there on the processing machine, and we have another. It's not as dirty as the last one. There's some dust bunnies, but not like the last one. And look at that chain gang of Molex connectors. Good God Almighty. We do have USB 3.0. I see it plugged in down there, the header for it. A couple sticks of RAM in it, so let's go ahead and dissect one of those and see what we got. He didn't even have them in the right slots, so 8 gigabyte. So it's got at least one 8 gig stick. Let's check the other one. It may have 16 gigs of RAM in it. Same thing, 8 gig stick right there. So 2 of them are 16. Oh, what's the speed on that? DDR3 1600. So, well, we got 16 gigs of RAM. That's a good start. We got the Barracuda hard drive right there, 1 terabyte Seagate. I don't know what brand this power supply is, but we'll see by the weight of it if it's going to work any kind of good. But it is a 1,000-watt power supply. So you see that right there. Then we got maybe a Sound Blaster card added in. That's what it looks like. And there's that EVGA GT730. We'll test all the components. I'm curious to see what we got. I don't think it's a... Usually the AMD motherboards will have AM3 Plus on them somewhere. And it's an MSI board, I can tell by the width of it, but it doesn't have that on it. So I don't know what it is. We're going to get it down in here to my table in the shop, and I'll set you up on a tripod, and we're going to tear this thing down, and we're going to find out exactly what it is. Alright, I paused you for a second to show you something on this teardown that I just noticed that is probably the reason he sold it. So, the first thing is the thing definitely overheated. I didn't wipe any thermal paste off that and look. Okay, so second thing is there wasn't much more on the CPU cooler. You can see that right there, and this stuff is, I mean, it is just crusty on there. So bar, put all that to the side. Take a look at the 8-pin. See how the one is sticking up higher than the other? I'll bet you that caused the intermittent problem with this computer. He said it would boot and shut off and boot and shut off and boot and shut off sometimes. Usually that means that it's a problem with the power supply, but in this case it clearly was. It was a problem with the power feed from the power supply, is almost what I'm going to bet you guys and gals, and when I test it I bet it works fine. But let's see what we got in our mystery PC. Might as well do that now. I'll tell you what, we didn't do too bad right here. And I was thinking by the colors on the board, and you can see it's a B85 now that I got the graphics card out, B85 Plus, so this is going to be a pretty good build. This has an i7-4790K in it. And I don't know if you can see that. It's hard to read it on the Intel CPUs on the GoPro. So I'm going to put it there, and if you can see it, great. If not, you just have to take my word for it. But it's definitely an i7-4790. So what I'm going to do here, this one's not near as dirty as the last one. The case is in pretty rough shape. We'll take a look at that when I get it tore down. I'm going to go ahead, and I got this unbolted. Heck, I can probably pull it out while I'm talking to you. But, oh, what do we got going on with this power plug? They're both loose. Let's pull that one out of the way. And nothing going on with the power plug, it's the fans in the way up there. I'm just trying to sneak it out with all that stuff in it, but there's some kind of cord plugged in down here too that was literally velcroed to the bottom of the computer case, so we'll have to look at that. That's the SATA's where the hard drive's plugged in. I'm probably going to pull the back of the panel off. We're going to take a good look at the case because I have an idea. I don't like the janky old bye-bye power cases, but it may be a good platform for us to resto mod something. So we'll take a look at it and make sure it's in good enough condition for that. I'm going to set you back up on the tripod though, and we're going to tear this the rest of the way down and start cleaning stuff up. And then when I got it in pieces, I'll get back and do the overview before I take the parts in and test them. We blew it off, but you can see this one got wet too. I'm tired of buying these wet ones. I should look at this when I buy them. This one's from water. Look at that. That's corrosion. You can see where the corner of this case sat in the water. It doesn't go up high enough that it should have got on anything else though, because the motherboard don't go all the way to the bottom of the case. I think we can salvage this, and it's missing a couple feet up here. Is probably why it sat down at the water level and got wet, but we can clean that up and paint it anyway. So I think we can fix that. I probably got other cases I can find a couple of feet from, but I want to resto mod it. And what I mean by that, and I think that it's going to help the YouTube channel a ton if I do this. Well, I'll start with the paint. So I stopped at when I bought this case, I'd already had this idea in my head because I'm working on another one, and hopefully you'll see that video before this one drops, but we'll see. Well, she double bagged it, and I guess double bagging made it too hard for me to get out. So the first thing I got is a can of automotive primer, because that bare metal we're going to want to prime before we do this. The first can, satin black. We'll mix that up and shoot it with my spray gun when we do the painting on these things. And the next one is flat white. So we got satin black and flat white. That's the colors we're going to use on these. I love that combination. I think it gives it a more modern look. And that's what we're going to go for on this. One of my problems with it is this had this on the top of the case, and that's got your USB 2.0, your USB 3.0, your audios, your power, and your reset. But I think I can build a new top panel and integrate this stuff in to the front of the case and not even the top of it. So that's what I'm going to look at doing on the Resto Mod, and this one might get seriously Resto modded. Possibly even fabrication work on this one. So you're going to like the redo of this case, I promise you. Because it had that at the top, it's got a gaping hole up here. So I'm going to have to drill this top off. Drill these pop rivets here, 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 and on the other side, and we can pull this whole top off. I'm going to measure it first. I think I got a scrap case that might have a flat top on it. I don't need the gaping hole here for what I'm going to do, because we're not going to have a top on this when I get done anymore. The only thing the top covered on it as it is was like this anyway. So the top covered right there and was sticking up, and I want to make it flat. So I'm going to measure it and see if one of my other cases has a top to fit it, and we're going to get that flat. I still like to have the fans for ventilation, and then the front of it, it has the gaping holes where everything else went. I think I'm going to build a panel and space it out on bolts to go over the top of it, and we're going to cut all this stuff out in here because we don't need none of it. There's no USB 3.0 mount, so we'll just get rid of this cage and that cage. We'll drill them out of there and get rid of them. So it's going to be an open case, and then we'll put I may take another front panel if I got one this size on an old case that's going to work right, and try to put a couple of 120s in the front of that. But that's going to come up on a different video that I'm going to do pretty quickly. It's going to be resto modding these cases and making them look more modern. So you'll just have to bear with me and imagine that a little bit, but I got to do some measuring to make sure I got the parts to do this first. And we can relocate the switches and stuff, so that's not a big deal. This has a M-Disc LG Super Multi-Rider. So we had that in there, bonus, right? There's our motherboard. It's an Asus B85 Plus, so it's not an MSI board with the 4790K 4-core 8-thread processor. The Sound Blaster card we don't need to test. I'm going to get together what we need to test. So we need that graphics card. We need that memory right there. We'll just go ahead and stick the memory back into it. We might as well, right? 2 and 4 slots. Most of you guys and girls know that. Any board from, I don't know, about the first generation i5 will take about the same. And 2 and 4, not 1 and 2, like this one was done. I'm surprised it even booted that way, but I'm going to look at the pictures. I think that dude ripped a couple sticks of RAM out of this before I picked it up today. So let me get the CPU cooler, and it didn't have an SSD, so I'll use one of mine to test it, because I still need to test that hard drive, but we'll take it with us. We'll just test it later. And then we got the 1000-watt power supply we need to test. So let me round my stuff up, and the next time you see it, it's going to be set up in my test area inside the air conditioning, because it is smoking hot out here today. So resto modding the case is coming up in a different video. It might take a couple of videos to do it, because we're going to have to do some fabrication to do what we want to do with it. Or I can just look at building a new top for it too, and kind of spacing it up. That way we can still make the fans work. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll get down that road when we resto mod it. I'll do some measuring and see if I got another top to fit it, and we'll go down that road when we get there. But I'm gonna cut you off for now. We've been too long into this talking. Let's test these parts and let's see if we scored decent on our $100 marketplace find. And then what I want to do with this computer after the resto mod is I want to put it together, make it a modern looking, nice looking modern gamer, and I want to see how quick we can do it and how fast we can flip it back on marketplace. So that's what I'm going to do with this score. We're just going to go burning through this stuff, burning the content down, making the videos, and we'll see where we get. Next time I turn you on, we will be testing it. All right, I'll get my phone for a flashlight, but we are ready to test our marketplace score today. So it's right here. There's the power supply over here, if you can see the light on it. 1000 watt high power. Boy, this ought to be scary. I'm gonna plug it in first, see if I smell smoke. If I do, we'll unplug it. It doesn't have a brand name on it. I don't know if it come in it or what, but I don't trust it. So I've had power supplies that explode on me before, and I don't like it. All right, so we are plugged in. Give the sniff test here. Here we go. Okay. We are immediately going to unplug that because it is definitely broke. The switch on the back of that power supply is no good. I'm going to show you. Let's get it unhooked here. So we already know that we got a bad power supply. Let's just hope that it lights up or we really got screwed. Look at this switch. There's literally not really any clicking with it. I'm gonna put it to the side. I'm not done with it. I might be able to clean it at work, but we need a different power supply for now. I need my Seasonic I just had out. Are you kidding me? I just had my test bench set up with a Seasonic. Let me find my power supply. Okay, I don't see or smell smoke. This is the 1000 watt power supply. And we got power to it. I got a fan turning. We posted. Let me get you down off that tripod. Show you what we got. You're gonna like it. There it is right there. Asus B85 Plus ACPI BIOS revision 2108 Intel Core i7 4790 CPU. Running at 4000. We need to bump the memory speed up. See, we got 16 gigabytes of DDR3. Shows 1 keyboard, 1 mouse, 2 hubs. Control plus P to enter MEBX setup, or please enter setup to recover BIOS settings, plus press F1 run setup. Let's try that. Okay, the current BIOS settings do not fully support the boot device, or click OK to enter the BIOS setup. There's the BIOS. So UEFI. See, we got the CPU fan showing up there, and we got our, and this is with the GT 730 graphics card, so it's got the little graphics card on it. I think the next thing I'm gonna do is just plug a solid state drive in it, but I messed around with that switch for a while on that power supply and it started clicking. That's good, right? So I messed around with it and it started clicking good. I don't smell any smoke or anything, so it looks like we got a good 1000 watt power supply here, which is actually a good thing. So everything worked. I didn't have any bad parts in it. This would be good for a HTPC or a media center graphics card right here, the GT 730. It's probably a little 1, maybe possibly a 2 gig card. We'll look and see if we can find that. or we'll download software when we get a boot drive on it and see. But this board's in great shape. I don't know what I did with the IO shield. I think I left it out in the shop, so we don't want to lose that because we're going to mod that case up. So we definitely don't want to lose that. But here it is, it posted. I'm definitely happy about that. Now we're going to see if it'll boot. I guess we'll see if it'll boot in a hard drive, and I'll turn it back on. Alright, we're going to power it up again. This time we got a hard drive hooked up to it. So there we go. Show it across the power pins here. See if we get it to load back up again. Keyboard flash, and there we go. Alright, so let's see what we're going to do here. F1. And let's go to the boot menu, F8. Samsung Evo 860. I clicked on it and we went black, so I don't know what's going on here. That was odd. It's rebooting. It says enter password. That's not good. That means there's likely a password on this BIOS, and I will have to Google how to get around it. I think there should be a jumper pin to bypass it, if I'm not mistaken, but you won't be able to boot into it because of the BIOS password. Somebody put an administrator password on the motherboard. That's great. That just makes it a little more fun. So we may have to download and do a USB flash on this old BIOS here, unless I can find a jumper that does it. I'm just going to look at the, I don't know if the clear, see it, clear TC, there's the jumper right there. So we're gonna, I'm gonna have to jumper this and see if I can clear the password out. And if I can clear the password out, then we have us a good deal. I'll clear the password out even if I got a load of new BIOS on it, so it ain't a big deal. That's all we wanted to do. I wanted to show you the find, get it tested, and we know that it works now, which is good. I'm gonna shut that off. I still don't trust that switch. So I'm gonna be a little gingerly on that. But I'm going to shut it down for now. I'll work on this password thing. I think I can just clear the CMOS right there. I think I can clear TC and it'll clear all that out. But if it doesn't, then I'll pull the stuff up and I'll download a BIOS for it and I'll put it on a flash drive, and I will get in there and I will load a new BIOS on it so it's gone. 16 gigs of RAM show up and they work. 1000 watt power supply works. GT730 or 4790 works, and the motherboard works. And that's what we wanted to see, if our $100 computer would work. We're going to do some resto modding to the case. My hair's a mess. I have my hat on all day. But we're going to do some resto modding to the tongue-tied again. Resto modding to the case. And that's going to be probably the next videos on this. I will update you on this video or just post a comment on a YouTube page when I get this thing bypass the password. I may even video it later to show you guys how to do that, because I'm not real sure off the top of my head. I've got an idea that we can jumper it and it'll work, but I don't know. So let me do that. But for now, that's going to do it for the $100 marketplace score. We did it again. We lucked out. We made it work. So now we just got to get it to boot into Windows, and I'll work on that now. Another great SimStation production. What can I say? We scored today. We took the ride. We picked it up, and here it is, and it works. So like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I thank each and every one of you that view these videos as they go up 2 times a week, Tuesday and Thursday now. So we are being pretty consistent with the 2 times a week, and I'm extremely happy that that 1000 watt power supply worked. But this working with the motherboard and processor and 16 gigs of memory really makes it worth it. And then we got the 1000 or the 1 terabyte drive we can put in for extra storage on it. But what I'm going to do with that build, I'm going to try to modernize that case, repaint it, make it look great, get these components back in it, and make a really modern looking, clean, sleek, nice setup. And then we're gonna see how much money we have in it, what we can flip it for, and how long it takes us to flip it on Marketplace. So there you go. Stay tuned for the videos on this. They're gonna be really good. I'll catch you on the next SimStation production.